Welcome to Lorebound, a journey through Warcraft's forgotten stories where we're tackling every quest needed for the Loremaster title, zone by zone, from Classic all the way up to the War Within. WoW is massive, and that's over 3,000 quests just up to the Cataclysm expansion. Deep lore, hidden gems, and tons of nostalgia. Most players skip it, we won't. Each episode will cover one zone, its story, core rewards, and what makes it special. It's long, it's tough, but by the end, we'll have the Loremaster title, cool tablet to flex, and the right to say, I didn't just play WoW, I lived it. Our journey in Hillsbrad begins at South Point Gate, a small forsaken settlement where we learn that undead have already taken control of the most of the area. But there are still a few pockets of resistance, so we're asked to help finish the job and bring all of Lordaeron under the Forsaken rule. Our first task is really unusual. We become a temporary quest giver, handing out missions to other adventurers. So we mount up on a skeletal horse and set off to hand out orders. The first adventurer we meet is Damas, a freshly stitched undead who seems, well, not very smart. Therefore, we send him into the mines, far away from anything he might mess up. Next, we meet a proud and loud orc veteran, full of muscle and war stories. He brags that no Alliance soldier could ever stand against him, so we send him to South Shore to prove it. Lastly, we meet Johnny Awesome, a flashy blood elf who clearly loves himself a little bit too much. He says he can handle any threat, so we direct him into the sludge fen to help the local apothecaries. Job done, but the High Executor quickly sees we're not made for desk work. Therefore, we're sent on a more hands-on assignment, helping in nearby Azeroth mine, where Forsaken are farming spiders to use as mounts and weapons. On the way there, we're given a disturbing task: kill bears. Why? Because the Apothecary Society has planted spider eggs inside them. The eggs feed on the bears and grow faster. It's twisted, but apparently it gives the bears purpose. So we do the job one bear at a time and collect the eggs. At the mines, Captain Creighton greets us. Things aren't going well. The spiders are restless because they're hungry, and the murlocs keep attacking and stealing supplies. First, we give him the spider eggs, which he's pleased to receive. Then, we get a special task: take a spider companion to the shoreline and let it feed on the murlocs. The task is as strange as it sounds. We kill murlocs while our spider feasts on their bodies. Gross, but effective. While our spider is busy snacking, we also recover stolen supplies scattered all around the beach. Along the way, we run into a larger than usual murloc, who puts up a tough fight, but we defeat him and take his flipper, thinking it might be useful. However, when we bring it to Captain Creighton, he's really not impressed.
"Do I look like a murloc scientist?"
he says. Still, he's happy to have the supplies back. Our final job in the mine is to free humans trapped in the spiderwebs. The apothecaries want them all alive for experiments back at the sludge fen. While exploring the mine, we stumble upon someone unexpected. Damas, the dumb undead we sent here earlier. Surprisingly, he's still alive and kicking, not eaten by the spiders. So we help him and find his way out of the labyrinth-like mine. When we return, Captain Creighton is not exactly thrilled to see Damas again. He quickly sends him off into the Terran Mill. But, in true Damas fashion, he marches off in a completely wrong direction, shouting,
"Is that in the Barrens?"
"Good luck, lad. You'll need it." After finishing up in the mines, we fly out to the sludge fen, where Warden Stillwater has asked for help, but very quietly. Something suspicious is going on. When we arrive, we see that the whole area is crawling with undead, but Stillwater insists that everything is perfectly under control. He eventually admits he could use some help, but says we need to destroy some evidence. He quickly adds that by evidence, he of course means the Scourge, because it's all just a normal mushroom farm, right? But when we explore the area, things clearly aren't normal. We soon encounter Cleric Horace Whitestead, a powerful undead who puts up a serious fight. But we bring him down, and on his body we find a journal that reveals the truth. Apothecary Leiden, a master alchemist, was sent by the Forsaken to check on Stillwater's progress. However, when he arrived, Warden guards turned on him and dragged him off to the cell. He was shouting that Dark Lady would have Stillwater's head for what was happening here. Therefore, it becomes clear that these mushrooms are no ordinary crops. They're plagued, part of some sick experiment. As we dig deeper into the farms, Citizen Wilkes suddenly leaps from a rooftop and ambushes us, but his surprise attack fails and we defeat him easily. Then, in the middle of the field, we find a shovel. Harmless at a first glance, but nearby we discover something truly horrific. There are humans buried up to the necks in the dirt, like crops being grown. Ghouls roam the field, waiting to feast on their exposed heads. This twisted experiment is a part of a quest named Do the Right Thing, and it forces us to make a moral choice. We can either dig the humans out, setting them free. They thank us and say that maybe we're not so bad, or use the shovel to end their suffering quickly by smashing their heads. It's described as a merciful death, but it's still horrifying. For the testing purposes, of course, I swear I split the outcome down the middle. Some were rescued, others got the shovel. After the quest is done, we can keep the shovel as a reward, so it reminds us of the horrors of the sludge fields and the depravity of mortals. Back at the Warden Stillwater, we confront him with the truth, but as expected, he denies everything. He claims he has no idea why people would willingly inhale the toxic mushroom fumes. Still, he quickly snatches the journal we recovered and says he'll burn it himself, which only proves he's hiding something. To shift attention, Stillwater gives us a rescue mission. He had sent Johnny Awesome to fight the Scourge, but he hasn't returned. We head out and find him in a nearby manor, next to the caged Apothecary Leiden prisoner. Leiden begs us to shut up the blonde elf who's loudly talking nonsense. It turns out Stillwater wasn't running a farm at all. He was using the place for horrible experiments on humans, and when he ran out of living humans, he started experimenting on his own Forsaken, turning them into mindless, broken creatures. He knew the punishment for this was death, therefore he asked for discretion from the start. So, we gather a key from nearby zombies and free Leiden, who's furious about what has been happening. But before we can face Stillwater directly, we need to deal with a growing threat. Scourge monster made from the 3 stitched up farmers. Johnny Awesome joins us for revenge. His pony was killed by an undead blacksmith named Verrigan, who's nearby too. So we go full rogue style and take both of them out, quickly and cleanly, with the help of our companions. With the monsters down, we head back to the sludge fields, where Magistrate Burnside awaits. He was a strong man in life, therefore he's even tougher in death, using powerful arcane magic to shield himself. But once his shield drops, we waste no time. He's stabbed down swiftly. Finally, we reach Warden Stillwater. He laughs in our face, saying that his work is the future of the Forsaken, not the timid science of the apothecaries. Suddenly, his bodyguards attack us, and a fight breaks out. Thankfully, Leiden fights at our side, healing us through the chaos. The fight is tough, and when Stillwater falls, he transforms into huge monstrous aberration. Therefore, we have to kill him a second time, but this time for good. Afterwards, Leiden swears he'll take Stillwater head personally to Dark Lady as a proof of his betrayal, but our journey isn't over yet. He asks us to check on his apprentice at the ruins of Southshore. We fly there, only to find the town completely destroyed by the Forsaken Blight. The area is deadly, and the blight doesn't fade. No one knows how long it will last. Therefore we were asked to enter and measure slime samples, so the apothecaries can study its power. We also pick up used blight carnisters, which they might reuse later. But the ruins are dangerous, worgens stalk the area, and we have to take them down on sight to stay safe. Luckily, we meet Helkolar, who is somehow still alive. He gives us his enchanted rod, which empowers the nearby Dark Rangers, making them stronger against the worgen threat. While clearing up the ruins and fighting off the blight, we come across a massive slime creature, the biggest in the area, and take it down. But that's not the most surprising part. Nearby, we find Orcus, the overly proud orc we have met earlier, the one who couldn't stop flexing. He's in the water, flailing around and yelling for help, acting like he's drowning. But we quickly realize he's standing in shallow water. Once he's rescued, Orcus explains that he might be cursed by a human he recently fought. But before all that happened, he tells us a very orcish story. He had eaten too many dirge-kicking chops and had to make an urgent visit to the outhouse near the docks. While finishing up, he overheard a human mage and a dwarven warrior talking. They were discussing how worgen were gathering on Purgation Isle, just off the coast. But they spotted Orcus and a fight broke out. He was kicked into the water and worse, his loyal mount Keisha was badly injured during the scuffle. Therefore, before we can head to the island, we must first heal Keisha. To do that, we need mud-snowed mushrooms, a special kind of fungus that's toxic to the living but restorative to the undead. These mushrooms only grow nearby, but they're guarded by a group of angry gnolls. Of course, the gnolls aren't willing to share, so we convince them with a bit of classic Forsaken negotiation. We give the mushrooms back to Keisha, who quickly recovers and is ready to fly again. Therefore, it's time to head for Purgation Isle. Once we land, we face Stormpike mountaineers and worgen soldiers working together. We have to fight our way through the island, battling up toward the top cliffs. There, we spot a duo from the docks, now speaking with none other than the Ivor Bloodfang, an old enemy from the Silverpine Forest. A direct assault would be reckless, but Orcus has a plan. He charges and takes down a mountaineer carrying the battle plans, and then boldly throws himself at the Alliance trio, creating a huge distraction. Therefore, while he keeps them busy, we grab the plan and ran to the Keisha. She swoops in to pick us up, but instead of flying off alone, Keisha refuses to abandon Orcus. So, with perfect timing, she dives back in and saves him too, carrying us all to safety. We return to Taran Mill only to face a heartbreaking scene. Orcus didn't survive. He gave his life for the Horde, using his final act to uncover the Alliance plan. His death is a painful reminder. Even the boldest heroes can fall, but their sacrifice carries meaning. Therefore, we carry on, armed with the truth he died to deliver. After saying our final goodbye to Orcus, we're sent on a new mission. The Yetis nearby have been left alone for too long, but the Horde has decided it's time to wipe them out. We head into their icy cave, which winds deep into the mountain. Inside, we slay as many Bigfoots as we can, collecting their hearts as a proof of our success. Along the way, we also complete a strange request, as one of the Forsaken soldiers had left his armor in the cave after a long and tiring battle. But when he went out for a walk, the Yeti stole it. Therefore, while clearing the cave, we also search for his armor pieces. After gathering them all, we leave the cave and discover something huge. The King Yeti, massive, overgrown, and clearly dangerous. He's already a bit wounded, so I thought, why not, and charge in without thinking too much. But I quickly regret that decision. The moment the fight begins, he heals to full health, and suddenly I'm in trouble. His attacks are strong, and even after using evasion, he hits too hard. I don't last long, and I die. Therefore I try again, this time more carefully. I use stuns and evasion more wisely. but he surprises me with a leap attack, making it hard to kite him. And I die again. Third attempt, even worse. I accidentally pull a tiger too, and with both of them hitting me, I stand no chance. Another death. Therefore, I come back for a fourth attempt, fully focused. This time I use every cooldown, every bit of crowd control and kite carefully. Finally, I do manage to take him down and claim his twisted horn as a proof of victory. With the Yetis dealt with, our next job is a little bit more peaceful. We hunt some stags for meat, for the supplies, and help heel fawns learn to stand and walk on their own. Kinda. Once that's done, we return to Terran Mill to report in. Everything's handled, so we're sent off once again. This time to Eastpoint Tower, where the undead forces are struggling with a new threat. First, we are sent to the Durnhold Keep, a castle that used to hold orc internment camps, but now it's been taken over by the Horde, and the Dark Lady has placed powerful elementals to guard the place. These elementals are a part of a tough challenge. Anyone who defeats them all is promised great rewards. Therefore, we decide to enter and face the challenge. It turns out we must kill 6 elite elemental warlords back to back. They are incredibly strong. But thanks to my choice of the assassination spec, I can deal damage while staying safe. I use stuns and evasion to avoid attacks, and while waiting for stuns to be ready again, I kite them using bleeds, poisons and throwing knives from afar. After several minutes of stunning, dodging and careful fighting, I managed to kill all 6 warlords, but there were many close calls. Some hits dropped my health by half in one strike. Luckily, my cheat death talent saved me more than once. It turns out no one else has completed this challenge yet, so we are the strongest unit in the area. Therefore, after the victory, we are sent to Dun Garok, a Dwarven Alliance outpost high in the mountains. This place was the site of a bloody battle when the Forsaken launched a full attack on Hillsbrad. The Alliance was outnumbered 10-1 and suffered a terrible defeat. But now the outpost seemed haunted. We investigate and meet a dwarven ghost. He tells us that the dwarves who died here still guard the place, even in death. So he asks us to end their suffering by putting the ghost to rest. Only then might the Forsaken claim the spoils of victory. We return to Eastpoint Tower and report that Dun Garok is haunted and uninhabitable. The commander agrees to let the dwarves keep their hold over the place, for now. Next, we are sent to the Frostwolf clan, who are always fighting the Storplank dwarves over the control of the Altrak Valley. These orcs are survivors liberated by the thrall from old internment camps, and this clan is his own. But when we meet their blind shaman, Drekthar, he is furious at our proposal. He says that the Forsaken are a blight that destroy everything they touch and leave only ashes behind. Therefore, he refuses to join our cause or help us. We return to Kromosh and report that Frostwolf's refusal. He is shocked by his betrayal and promises to report it to the war chief later. But now we have more urgent matters. The Hillsbrad foothills have 4 distinct hills, or fingers, that jut out from the Altrak mountains. Each is heavily guarded by dwarves and the Stormwind SI7 agents. But thanks to the plans we stole with Orcus, we know where their forces are, so we can strike hard and cause some serious damage. We are sent to hit each hill and cause as much chaos as possible. At Sofera's Naze, we plant a bomb right in the heart of the SI7 camp. We kill their operatives and assassins, then use a Banshee mirror we received to drain their souls, turning them into tools for the Horde. At Koran's Dagger, we sneak into the dwarves' camp and kill their captain, Iceheart, along with his soldiers. Before we leave, we plant explosives to destroy their camp. At Headland, we sneak into the Dwarven's training grounds and poison their trainees so they die suddenly and unexpectedly. We also take out their trainers, who are the strongest fighters in the area. At Gaven's Knees, we target the engineers, killing as many as we can. This is their siege engine camp, so stopping production here is crucial. We then plant a big bomb near the tanks and rush away. We hurry back to Cromosh in Tarrenmill to watch the four hills blow up one after another. The dwarven outposts are completely destroyed. Therefore, with this mission done, the Forsaken's control over Hillsbrad is complete. The remaining dwarves had no choice but to retreat deep into the Altrak mountains, allowing us to take flight to our next destination, Arathi Highlands.